Well, I had something I wanted to show you, but I feel like we should maybe wait till the end of the episode.
Okay.
Because people want content. They want what they signed up for. We're learning.
So stick around at the end of the episode for a surprise.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned. This is going to be a spoiler episode of a spoiler show. We are going to be talking about Halloween Kills spoilers, probably right out of the gate.
Yes. I also have to apologize for my audio. I am in a hotel in California. This is a ramshackle setup. So, apologies in advance.
The show must go on.
Yeah, it must go on.
Do it! Do it! You want your mask? Come and get it! I'm coming for you, Michael.
All right. Halloween Kills.
Yep.
Okay. So we've covered the first one, which is your favorite scary movie. It's my
favorite slasher movie. It's not my favorite scary movie. It's my favorite slasher movie. There's an important distinction.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely not my favorite scary movie.
We covered the 2018 Halloween, and now we're doing this one. I don't... I fucking loved this.
Oh, man. No.
Did you not? What?
No.
What is happening?
I liked parts of it, but mostly I thought the writing was terrible. And Michael Myers is not following his own rules anymore. And that annoys me. He's not following slasher rules.
Which are what?
Well, the slasher rules are like only kill the people who are like having sex. And like, they're like, it's very deliberate. And he just is plowing down anyone who stands in front of him. And it doesn't fit his MO.
Well, I don't think he has an MO. I think they've made that clear.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something so sort of, I don't know the word I'm looking for. The original Halloween is very neat. In the original Halloween movie, the thing is that he's very specifically going after like babysitters. And it's presented as like he is sort of trying to kill his sister again. You know what I mean? And so it's like in the previous one, in the 2018 one, I was like, okay, well, he's going after Lori and her family. That's fine. All of the kids that die in that's fine because he is still going after Lori. And in this one, not only is he not really going after Lori because he never does show up at the hospital like Karen thinks he's going to, he's just indiscriminately murdering people, like breaking into houses that have nothing to do with anything and killing the people inside. And that is dumb.
Okay. I don't know where to go from here because I think that you have a much more like storied history with the franchise. I've literally seen 1978, 2018, and this. Mm-hmm. So for my viewing experience, I mean, it's relatively consistent. With the horror sequel, you build upon the previous and the kill counts go up and
as a sequel to the 2018 one and as just like a general slasher movie, fine. It was a horror movie. It had bigger kills. It had more kills. Agreed. But there's something disingenuous about calling it Halloween and using Michael Myers to me because it's just sort of frustrating because it's like that's not really, again, you're right. He doesn't really have an MO and it's not really like there's not a lot of there because he doesn't speak and he doesn't do anything like that. But it is just sort of, it's a little frustrating. So I almost wish that this were something different. Like that it weren't Michael Myers. Because if it weren't Michael Myers, then it could be whatever. But the biggest issue I had was Anthony Michael Hall's character, who was so stupid. I just like didn't feel that thread like at all.
So, okay. I didn't like him. I felt the thread. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where to start because we're having a different conversation already. But early on in the movie, there's a flashback to like the 1978. So it's like we're already we're knee deep in retcon at this point. We're introducing characters into the first film that didn't exist with Robert Longstreet's, what was his, Lonnie?
Well, no, Lonnie, I think, was also one of the kids.
Oh, was he? Okay, I saw.
Oh, no, you're right. Because they filmed it with the guy, the one that plays William Sadler, or not William Sadler, Will Patton, but younger, Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. So they filmed that new. So Lonnie is new, but Tommy is established.
Yeah. So, yeah, because Tommy and Lindsay are the kids from the first one. Yeah. But I'm like, so we're already knee-deep in retcon, which, again, doesn't bother me an iota.
Well, that part didn't bother me. I kind of enjoyed that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a moment with young Hawkins where Dr. Loomis comes in, and he just is like, Officer Hawkins, tell me, did Michael kill? Did Michael kill again? And I was like, this is camp. This is it. It was so ridiculous. And I thought that sort of ridiculous wave really rode through the whole rest of the movie, that I was sort of in a state of glee watching it. It had some of my favorite things. We had a ensemble, which I love. Yeah. Cast of characters. I mean, a cast of characters, not just a group of sexy teens. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I was sort of weirdly, I love mythos, and we go straight from that sort of like 1-2 punch of opening into this like talking about, you know, Tommy and Lindsay and Marion, like they're mythical figures. I loved that. I liked that we had the doctor and the nurse back. I thought that was so weird that they had a cameo in the 2018 version. And then it was
I don't even remember them.
Marcus was his name? Vanessa was her name.
Yeah, okay.
Literally, because it's when he's indiscriminately killing on Halloween, and he's walking down the street, and they're coming out to their car, and she literally turns around and she's like, what? And they get in the car and drive away, and it's like it's before he's decided what to do. It's the same actors. I loved that. The whole Tommy thing, I knew you and Will were going to be really hung up on that. Here's one of the reasons why. And it's not that it worked for me. It actually left me kind of baffled. But I was for it for easily a half, maybe, of the movie. Because we have established that the police can't do shit. The police are inept. He took out 11 firefighters in full tactical gear in a pretty whimsically gory scene. It was sort of like an ice dance. Like, I don't know. I was on cloud nine this whole movie. I was cackling. And so there was something to be said about this angry mob, because I was like, well, let's try this.
But that's the thing for me, is because I'm like, what makes all of you rubes think that you're going to do it when the police, who are trained with guns and all this stuff, and the firefighters can't do it? And it's just like, it was that kind of thing. Like, I already had Will make me a gif of it, but I'm going to make him put the clip in here too. But there's this episode of New Girl where they're trying to find models, and it's one of the Megan Fox episodes. And she goes up to this guy who's really hot at the bar, and she's like,
have you ever thought about modeling?
Lady, you can't treat me like a piece of meat. Now, I know I'm hot, but I don't need your validation. And we're trying to have a serious conversation here about why the bees have disappeared.
A couple of guys in a bar can't figure it out. Who will?
And that's just how I felt for this entire movie. I was like, who do these people think they are? Just like, they're nobody.
That, I mean, absolutely. If this was a drama, absolutely.
Sure.
But that's where I went into the slasher, where I was like, because again, mythical figures, these people, this town, you know, it's taken on this identity of its own. I think we're meant to believe that this is the culmination, that a lot of these people are in many ways, you know, stuck in this thing. And it wasn't perfect, but I think the silliness really helped the movie. It also hurt the movie in a few places, because it was really, really gory again. It was really, really mean, like really vicious and mean again. I had an easier time with it this time because I was expecting it. And I did find there to be something interesting about, this goes back to the cast of characters, but like the kills where it was like, we were not dealing with a group of sexy teens.
Sure.
Like that couple in the beginning, it was Sonda and
oh yeah, her husband.
It was certainly interesting to me. Those are not the typical victims that I'm used to in slasher films. And so in that regard, I found it kind of interesting. I guess I agree with you that I do wish there was I wish she, for instance, that actress played like a caretaker in the first movie. And so it was like, I wish he was maybe like retracing his steps, which they kind of claim that's what he's doing. But
yeah, but it's like he's only retracing his steps in that he's making a straight line back to his childhood home. Nothing about it is like deliberate. Like he's not going, if he were specifically going after Lori or something, like he has been the entire time, he would have gone to the hospital. You know what I mean?
But I also think that specifically going after Lori, I think that for you, that's a residual of your firm and staunch belief that she's his sister.
I am apparently wrong. I think that's something that the intermittent sequels had discussed, is that she was his baby sister and he killed his older sister, and then there was a baby sister, and that was Lori. But apparently I'm wrong. But also, I mean, the whole thing is always about Lori, so I feel like it should continue being about Lori. But it's something that I've always liked it better, because otherwise, why does he keep coming after Lori? What is special about Lori? Just that she got away? And in that case, if that's why all of this is happening, then why in this movie isn't he going after Lori? He's just trying to go back to his house. But that house hasn't really meant anything to him for years.
But that's what I'm saying here is when you remove her being his sister, then it takes that he is not actually going after her, and therefore his sort of indiscriminately killing isn't really an issue anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I wish that were more deliberate. Like, that feels like something
you liked that part about it, and you don't like having that part removed.
Yeah, it just feels very willy-nilly. Like, what's the end game? Because now it appears he is going after the family, but only because they keep trying to thwart him. So that's where I kind of get weird about it.
Like I said, I really, really liked our cast of characters. I thought it did some interesting things. It had a lot of interesting bits of commentary. Some worked better than others. One of my first notes that I wrote towards the top of the page was, I was like, I like what this movie is attempting to say. I don't know that this is the franchise to say it. It's
definitely not the franchise to say it.
Well, there's different things. For instance, okay, we had Cameron back. I was thrilled. I liked Cameron. I actually knew he had survived 2018's because there's a scene where he's arrested. So he's like arrested for being a jerk to a police officer and taken away. And that was deleted. He's back in this one. He's a really great character in this one. I could not get over the fact that he spends this entire movie still in drag.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I'm sure there's some obscure movie out there, but I've never seen a horror slasher film where a leading man is in a dress, like a pencil skirt.
That's fair.
I thought it was a very interesting bit of commentary. And then this goes back to the Sandra thing, where it's like, the different age of the victims I found interesting. I thought that whole Phil and Sandra thing, it was so brutal and so vicious, but I did find it interesting. It reminded me weirdly of that like scene that I loved so much in True Blood with Sarah Newland trying to kill Tamerlan.
Oh yeah.
Where it kind of goes to show that it actually is a little bit hard to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's a process in a way that movies don't actually show. And it's because we don't like it. I don't want to think of, this woman slowly dying, watching her husband's corpse be desecrated.
That was also something that irritated me, is that it's been ages and ages since I've seen any of the direct sequels to the first one. I don't remember him ever just plunging 11 knives into a body that's already dead. That was really weird and mean and too much for me.
Mm.
That was like a way lot. I really didn't like that part.
I don't know. I do think that there is something interesting. It pinged that this film is not your rated thing for me, where I was like, the movies, you can kill 100 guys in a PG movie if there's no blood. And it's like, well, is that necessarily like, I don't know. I found it sort of interesting the way that a lot of these people were alive for a while. I really liked Big John and Little John. I thought that was
too. I liked them too.
I like that we kept and I liked that we established them well before we killed them. That's something, like, I like that it wasn't just from vignette to vignette to vignette. Like, I like that, like, I mean, I'm going to breakneck right into Kyle Richards, but she's alive.
I can't believe that. I thought she was going to die immediately.
I thought it was a glorified cameo. Yeah. I thought that scene with her yelling at the kids on the swing set.
I thought that was it. Yeah.
And when she walks into the bar, I was like, oh, is she in this movie?
Kind of. She kind of was.
I thought she was good.
Yeah, she was fine.
It certainly wasn't. She certainly didn't stick out. Like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't be like, I bet that's a reality TV star that, like,
I bet that's a Real Housewife
that won a contest. You know what I mean? So I thought she was good, and I was actually very glad that she did survive, because there's something about the bleakness that we are sort of dealing with, where it's like, there is something about these people's lives being stunted 40 years ago, and then them just being ghosts in this town for 40 years, waiting for Michael to just come finish the job. You know what I mean? And so at a certain point, we do need the survivors. You know, we do need victors and stuff. It was sad to see Marion go, but also, again, it was kind of interesting seeing a much older woman in a role that's typically reserved for ingenues.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that kind of stuff, I did appreciate that kind of stuff. And like, there was a part of me that was like, this is kind of interesting, kind of getting this crew together. Okay, at the beginning, when Tommy was like, we're all the survivors, and he's escaped, and we need to do this. Like, the like 5 of us or whoever, we need to do this because, you know, like you said, our lives have been stunted this whole time. It has to be us or whatever. That part was fine. But then it was like, when all of the people in the hospital were acting crazy. Like,
it turns into a Teen Wolf episode.
It turns into like a bonkers mob mentality stuff, which I'm not saying is implausible. That absolutely could and would happen. But it just feels like it happens too fast. Like, it happens the same night. This all takes place on the same night that the 2018 one happened. And so it's just like, all of a sudden, they're like, evil dies tonight. And everybody's like running through the hospital and trying to chase this poor other insane guy that's been on the loose the whole time. And it's just like, it was like really, plus they all are just like certain it's him. And I'm like, none of you have ever seen his face. Maybe ask someone who has seen his face.
I mean, that's how these things work.
I know. But it was like, that's the thing.
And you're like, and I don't want it in my entertainment. It's outside my window right now.
It's right now. No, that's why I liked the like small group at the beginning of like the actual survivors. I was like, this is interesting. Like, if these are the people that it takes to take him down, then 100%. But then when it was like literally the entire town and everybody was just like out trying to kill dudes.
It does turn into Assassination Nation.
yeah. And that's where I was like, not 100%.
I don't know. I did love it. And it's a lot of what I liked so much was from the beginning that I had just decided that I loved it. So when it got a little bit wonky towards the end, I was like,
So that's the other thing I'll say is I did watch this by myself in a hotel room in Visalia, California. So I did not have an ideal viewing experience because I wasn't with any people who might have made it more fun for me. So I was very in a vacuum watching this in a way that I'm not generally when I watch movies like this. So it's possible if we had watched it together, I might have gotten a little more enjoyment out of it. But it was mostly like, because that's the other thing is I felt it was totally inconsistent because every time it went back to Lori or Karen or Allison, it was like a different movie.
They were in a proper slasher. I'm telling you, It was real campy. It was real. There was a very, for me, there was a very subtle but clear gay thrum through the whole movie.
Okay.
It just was pinging a lot of my like gay sensibilities. And I think that's part of only which is aided by, you know, the Real Housewife, the Judy Greer, the gay couple, and giving them actual plot, like the Big John and Little John. I thought that was so funny. Michael McDonald, I think the first man that's ever gotten applause on his entrance from us. That's usually reserved for women.
It is usually reserved for women. I was excited to see him because like at first I saw him and then I was like, that's not Michael McDonald. And then he came on screen again. And I was like, that's fucking Michael McDonald.
I loved what they did with the place.
Yeah. Oh my God. It looked amazing. That dark
gorgeous
green in the,
and
like front room.
And you have to like the level of suspension of disbelief I'm dealing with is, you know, these people are being chased by a literal boogeyman, and they find someone injured or dead, and their priority goes from their own safety to comforting this dead body. Sure. So it's like that happens like a minimum of 4 times in this movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that's the sort of like heightened reality that I sort of just allowed to wash over me. The Big John and Little John, and then the knives, and then them checking on each other.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was very funny. Somebody needs to shut the blinds in the morgue.
Yeah. That was not great. I also didn't like, that was one of the parts where it felt mean. You know what? Because you said that earlier that it felt mean. And I was going to say it kept reminding me of the, like, not quite 10 years ago, but I'm so bad with dates and stuff like that. This reminded me of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, which are aggressively mean and also disgustingly gory.
So I haven't watched them, but I watched the kill count. So it's like,
yeah,
I've seen 27 minutes of them on YouTube, and this seemed to have. I understand what you mean by that, but I think this.
Well, this movie is.
This is saying more than those ever.
Sure, this is campier and it's more stylish, 100%. But the meanness and the like grossness of the murders reminded me of that. Obviously not as bad because Rob Zombie is just absolutely disgusting. But I was getting that vibe a little.
No, like those are vulgar. I didn't like this was gory and graphic and gratuitous, but I didn't find this vulgar.
No, not vulgar.
I was actually pretty devastated that he killed her boyfriend.
Cameron. Yeah.
Cameron.
I didn't.
I mean, it was a pretty good kill, but
yeah, I don't know. It was like, especially towards the end, I was in a very like, there were like 10 minutes left when he did that, when he killed Cameron, and I was like, good Lord. I was just like thinking that we were going to get like 5 people out of this movie that were going to like make it. And we did not get the 5 people I thought.
Well, furthermore, and I think this might be this could be part of your problem, is we're all very aware there's a third and final chapter coming. So
yeah,
there was a lot of, they couldn't blow their wad here. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of them like defeating Michael without dealing any deadly blows.
Yeah. And so they dealt enough deadly blows, but here's the thing. So I was talking with my husband about it earlier before we sat down, and he told me that he read somewhere that this was meant to be 2 movies. It was supposed to be the 2018 one and then one more. And then somewhere right around the beginning of production on this one, they were like, no, it's going to be 3. That's
evident.
It's way evident because this one is really thrown together story-wise in a way that like I don't think is...
It's like when they were breaking the books into 2 movies to make more money.
Yeah.
It really is.
Because, like, that's what I was saying earlier, is, like, the writing's not very good. Jamie Lee Curtis gets some fucking clunkers in this movie.
Do you even know what that is?
It makes the pain go away.
Yeah, Judy Greer gets some clunkers in this movie. It's not amazing writing. And then the plotting, to me, was, like, pretty weak. Again, it's if you're watching this as a campy horror movie, then 100% it's fine. But it was just like, if you are at all trying to go into this with the legacy of the Halloween franchise behind it, it's not gonna work, in my opinion. Because it just kind of like spits all over what has been important.
for me, the Halloween franchise legacy started 3 years ago. So
sure. Yeah.
I was like, woo!
Not 53 years ago. 43. I just did my math wrong.
Did they kill Judy Greer?
I mean, she got stabbed a whole bunch.
It was, as it was happening, I was like, what a weird dream sequence we're doing. And I was like, oh, I think this is actually happening.
I don't know why. I was like convinced before the movie came out. You were like, well, Judy Greer's dying in this one. But that's the other thing is like she and Cameron made it until there were like 10 and 5 minutes left in the movie respectively. And I was like, well, this sucks.
I thought it was for both of them. I thought it would be like a heroic death, like a throw yourself on the bomb type death, and not a I made it to the finish line and then just got stabbed a bunch.
Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't my favorite, and it's not even like because Laurie is still alive and Allison is still alive, so there are still 2 final girls, and Sheriff Hawkins is
and
still
Lindsay.
alive, and Lindsay, and Sheriff Hawkins is still alive. So we still have like a decent team or whatever, but it's also like. I don't know that Allison necessarily needed to watch that happen to Cameron. You know what I mean? Like that's the mean part of it, where it's like
they could have.
Yeah.
I could have had them be Cosette and
sure.
What's his
Cosette
name?
and Marius, just like running away. Yeah,
where everyone else dies and they kind of are like, let's move to the city.
Yeah, let's just go.
You know, I hear you. I get it. I get your points, but
yeah, I hear you too. I get your points too. I believe you. I trust that you had a great time. It just like
it was on Peacock.
It was on
like
Peacock.
1 o'clock.
That was sweet. I didn't have to go to the movie theater in a strange town alone.
But also part of me wants to. It's like I wanted the rowdy theater experience with this, but no, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch Halloween, and I could pause it and Google who those people were, and like I made chicken and rice. It was great. Like I actually had even like way more, but I feel like this is a sufficient. Certainly first outing. There's gonna be another one. We're gonna cover it. So
I guess we should say that Tommy is dead. All of the previous survivors except for Lindsay are dead.
I would be more upset about that. It had he not gone so nuts. I mean, I thought Anthony Michael Hall was great, but there's a scene early in the movie where he's lit by a tail light and it looks like a Sin City still. And I was like, oh no. Oh, I also like the sirens singing in the bar.
Oh yeah, that was fun. There were like a lot of fun little moments in the movie for me, but yeah.
I was very aware this was a different town.
Oh.
They filmed the last one in Charleston, and this was in North Carolina. And I was like, none of this is the same.
None of this looks the same.
Not even close. Yeah, if you got low stakes, I thought it was great. If you got high stakes, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
So we'll see, like I said, where this goes with the third one.
Yeah,
but no, you're right.
I'm not going to watch it. Of course I'm going to be there for it. Come on.
Yeah, you're right, though. We've got Laurie and Lindsay.
Laurie, Allison, Lindsay, Sheriff Hawkins. That's who we've got. Yeah. 3 old.
Kyle Richards wasn't that great. She wasn't carrying an entire movie good.
I mean, who knows if she'll be in it, but
she broke her nose filming because she didn't want to hurt the stunt double with the I guess actual bag of bricks they gave her.
Oh God!
And so she was pulling her punches and accidentally smacked herself in the face. So.
That guy's like 70.
The stunt double, or
well, maybe not the stunt double, but like the actual guy. It's the same. At least in the last one, it's the same Michael Myers from the first movie. Mm-hmm. He's old.
Thomas Mann was really good in the flashback. Part of me was like, I don't know, just go back and make a really good remake. Like,
sure, yeah, I'm not opposed to a remake.
We'll get it, I'm sure.
I'm not opposed to a remake that didn't come from Rob Zombie because, again, I can't overstate the disgustingness of the Rob Zombie movies. They are too much for me.
I'm just intrigued at this point.
You can watch them if you want to. They are disgusting.
I've heard that.
Disgusting.
I did promise if anybody wanted to stick around that I was going to show you something.
Is it a hot toy? Because I might have gone to the website looking for something else and already seen the Loki one. Is that what it is? I'm sorry. It is.
Did you look at it, though?
Very good. I did look at it. It's very good.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have money for this. Like,
maybe
first of all,
I'll buy the next Loki.
That's what Mom was like. Oh, just show Kristin, she'll get it. Did you see the arm veins?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
And he's got the like fetishy straps, and he comes with Miss Minutes.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I went looking for is I saw like a news thing about a Paul Atreides action figure from a different company, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if Hot Toys is doing Dune. And so I went to look for Dune, and I saw Loki. And I was like, that's a good Loki.
And it's the Sylvie is really good too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm already getting Wanda and Vision. So that was it. Well, that was Halloween Kills. It sure did. Many things.
It sure did. Yeah.
The characters, the legacy, the mood. No, I'm kidding. So, okay. Well, you know the drill. Like, subscribe. So I'm watching.com, Patreon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Venmo, Cash App, all that. Let us know what you think, and hopefully we'll see you soon.